Meeting of the Board of Finance to consider Treasurer's investment plan for 2021. Do we have a treasurer?
Yes, I'm on.
There she is, the Queen.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yes, since I didn't have last year's meeting, everything from it. But last year, Commissioner Matias, is she still on?
Yes, she's here.
Okay, she was elected the president, so I'll turn it over to Commissioner Matias to open the meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Linsky.
Microphone.
Thank you.
There we go.
Good evening, everyone. At this time, I'd like to call the meeting of the Board of Finance for the year 2021 with the call to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Merzinski,
Present.
Commissioner Matias,
Present.
Commissioner Haney,
Present.
and myself, Treasurer Winsky, present.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we'd have the election of officers for year 2021. I'd entertain a motion.
I would make a motion to maintain the same officers that we have.
We have a motion on the floor to maintain the officers as presented.
A second.
We have a second, so the motion would indicate that Sheila Matias continues as president of the Finance Board. All those in favor? Oh, are there any other nominations? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Winsky, do we need other officers? It says officers in the plural, so I don't see any from last year, but just wanted to check.
No, I think that the treasurer serves as the clerk or the secretary of the board, and so I think that's it.
Okay, great, thank you. Next on the agenda, the approval of the agenda for this evening. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions?
Motion to approve is presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion has been passed. Next, we have approval of the 2020 minutes. You have a copy of the minutes from our February 19th LaPorte County Board of Finance meeting. Are there any additions, corrections, or questions? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to approve is presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 2020 February 19th minutes as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. Next, we have the Treasurer's Investment Report. Ms. Winsky?
First of all, let me apologize that I put this together without, we just gained access to our treasurer's program this week. So I put this together, and it is according to the state statute. So I will read it, but I'm going to guarantee you that I don't understand it yet. So the first institution we invested in was Horizon Bank, and we had $76 million that we purchased in investments in that bank, and the interest rates run from 0.22% to 1.8%. The interest we received was $128,231.52. First Source Bank, we invested $51 million with interest rates of 0.35% up to 1.76%, for a total interest received of $44,032.16. The next, Lake City Bank, we invested $130 million with an interest rate of 0.36 to 1.75%. The interest rate we received there was $193,088.99. Santier was the last bank we invested money with. That was $96 million. That interest rate was 0.24% to 1.8%, and we received $51,706.85. Now, you'll notice that if you looked at the minutes, we did much better in 2019. I'm guessing that was due to the pandemic partially, but I intend to look into that to see what happened there. if I can take any questions, I'm not going to guarantee that I can answer it, but I'll find the answer for you and get back to you. Are there any questions?
I do have a question. You started to touch on that, so I don't think you'll be able to answer it. But yeah, I did have a question here. Some of the differences here. So you mentioned Lake City Bank, which was the first one that popped out at me. I would love to know why the interest on that was down 1.2 million from the prior year, because I'm seeing here 1.4 million versus the 193,000 for the next year, and that's a massive discrepancy.
That was one of my questions also. So if you'll allow me to get the answer for you, I will get back to you with that as soon as possible.
I appreciate that. I think we should definitely wait before we consider that Lake City investment again until we figure out what happened. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I would just point out, if I may, that the Federal Reserve in March of 2020 with COVID lowered interest rates to about 0. Mm-hmm. So a good portion of this would be owing to that, because in 2019 the economy was much stronger, so interest rates were higher. So that would be a good portion, but I think your question is a good one with regard to Lake City in particular.
Thank you.
The other issue that I guess I would like you to pursue for us was the issue that we raised at our last year's meeting, and that was that the power of local banks, which employ local people. I remember we talked about Lake City Bank, and we focused on the fact that Horizon, First Source, and Centier have a local presence. Obviously, Horizon is a Michigan City-founded bank with their headquarters here in Michigan City. So I guess I would encourage you to review where our money is invested, what the return is over the 12 months, and obviously the effect of COVID, it can't be understated. We know that there's got to be a huge impact. But looking at, for example, a 5-year profile, perhaps we can see what we historically have done at the different banks. And, that it doesn't look like a whole lot of difference, but 1.8% interest compared to 1.75% interest, when you're talking the type of money we're talking about, that can make a significant impact on savings for our citizens. That would be my suggestion.
Yes, and I couldn't agree with you more, and that was, I was going to discuss that with you a little more in the next item. The review of the county investment policy. If no one else has any questions, I would
proceed.
move to the next line.
Please do. Thank you.
Thank you. So I had no way, I don't have a scanning device
You're going to, excuse me, you'll
in
probably
my office right now.
make a
So
motion approving the
I was not able to get you the
Excuse me, Ms. Winsky. Ms. Winsky, we have a
policy for the Board of Finance, but I would like your authority to review that policy. Part of it is that the treasurer will make a determination of the best interest rate, and let's see, and
Joey,
a motion was made. This was last year.
Joey?
Yes?
Can I have you hold that thought for just a moment? The
Yes.
attorney has a procedural issue we need to tend to.
Just if you would, if this meets with the pleasure of the Board of Finance, go ahead and approve the investment report, if you would, on the
Okay.
record.
Oh, thank
I'd make
you.
a motion to approve it.
Thank you.
Approve it.
We need to, we have a motion and a second?
Before I second, are we sure these numbers are correct, Ms. Treasurer?
Yes, they're from our software, and
Okay. All right. In that
so,
case, if we're sure they're
which,
correct, then I would second.
I will look into the question that you and I both have and get back to you on that. But these are the correct numbers. I did verify that.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second to approve the investment report as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Could you go ahead then, Ms. Winsky, and review the county investment policy with us?
So in the meeting, in the policy rather from last year, it states that we will use Horizon Bank. Let's see. Even if they were, and I don't know if this was actually what was said, but it states that we would use Horizon Bank even if they were the second or third highest rate of interest. So I would like to review the policy, and I would like to change some of the language that's in that policy and get back to you with that revised policy.
Pleasure of the board.
If that meets with your approval.
And it would be our recommendation then that you can convene another meeting of the Board of Finance later to approve the proposed policy for this year.
Okay.
I would be happy to do that. I would also bring to your attention one more thing that I will bring to the Board of Commissioners and to the Board of Finance, and that is I would like to hire Baker Tilly to invest our bond funds. We talked about it last year, and we never followed through with it. But there are specific guidelines for investing those bonds, and I think it would be prudent of us to hire Baker Tilly, who was our bond facilitator, and have them invest our funds. And if that meets with your approval, I will look into that and bring that back to the next Board of Finance meeting and Commissioners meeting. And I'd like to do that within the next month, if that's okay with all of you.
Thank you. So I think we need a motion to direct the treasurer to review the investment policy and come back to us at our next meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to direct the treasurer to review the county investment policy and come back with her recommendations. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion has carried. Then, do we need a motion for Joey to begin to have conversations with Baker Tilly and
Yes,
come back to us?
to come back to you with recommendations on an investment advisor, if you would.
Okay. We need a motion then to that effect?
So moved.
Okay.
And this motion would be a fact-finding motion, not a engagement of services, just a...
That's right. And Ms. Winsky, I think that's what you're seeking, isn't it? Simply to
Yes.
have authority considered at the next Board of Finance meeting to bring on an investment advisor.
Okay.
Right. I would bring it back for your approval
All
to
right.
Thank you.
hire Baker Tilly.
Thank you. In that case, I'll
I
second.
would never do that myself.
Yes, so we have a motion on the floor and a second to direct Treasurer Winsky to review terms with an investment bank for our bond issue investment and come back to this board at our next meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Hearing no other matters to come before the Finance Board, this meeting is adjourned.